nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll offer the invocation this morning. God, Father in heaven, thank you that I care to keep me through the night before this day. Lord, please help us use this day and every day of our lives to see that thy will be done and to live our Rotary motto of service above self. We ask this in your Son's name. Amen. Amen. Be seated, Mr. Honeycutt.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning, Mr. Honeycutt.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Honeycutt.
All right, first item.
Mr. Honeycutt.
All right, Richard, good morning, good morning. All right, we have a Rotary dog in our club. So I want you to know this. We talk about Jake. So our Rotary dog needs money. So how is his food? Is he okay this morning?
Looks like he's got fine.
Okay. All right, so keep that in mind.
Sergeant, is he a mascot or is he part of the security team?
He is both.
Oh,
He is both.
He's both.
And for those new members, Jake did come to our club a couple years ago. And he
When he was a
walked around the
pup.
club, checked everybody and left. He weighs 100 and how much? 140 pounds. So anyway, that dog is in charge. All right. If you get the Hickory record, yesterday morning, I called one of our Rotarians, and he had an article in there, and I thought it was extremely appropriate. And I called him on his cell phone, and he was en route to Charlotte when I talked with him. And I asked him if he would be kind enough to tell the club why he put the letter, the open form letter, in the paper. And Richard, would you be taking the honors and explain why you did that? And I thought it was so appropriate.
Yes, I did. I was, of course, I'm a veteran, and I was surprised one day when I went to Lowe's Home Improvement, and in the front they had 4 parking spaces designated for veterans, right in the front. And I thought, wow, what a great thing they do. Not only do they give 10% off for all veterans, but they also allocated 4 parking spaces right in the front for just veterans. And of course I used one. And I thought, what a great thing to do. What small things that they do, or people do that are kind and considerate to veterans. So I just wrote a small article in the Hickory Record and sent it as an appreciation to Lowe's for recognizing us as veterans.
It was well done, and I don't know if any of you read that. Now, here's the question, Rick. Service above self, would you consider that letter service?
Yeah, I would. As a matter of fact, I told Richard, I am so sorry, I had planned this morning to bring a dime, because if you find him, I'll go pay 10% of it.
All right, I'm going to be in everybody $1 a pot. I think that's covered. All right, I'll put mine in there to say $1. All right.
Thank you.
But that was well done.
See, I gotta go to the bank before I come here. I've got, that's where they don't give dollars. My God.
I'll have to bring it back.
That's okay, Ron, that's what they put an ATM in the lobby.
That's right. I don't normally do this.
I'll have to take some.
Hey, Ron.
All right.
Ron, he put that in there for you.
I got you.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Ron, are you settled now?
I mean, here?
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
You're not gonna ask me a question, are you?
No, not
Listen,
yet.
you can ask me any question, I'll give you
Well,
an answer.
I will say this, you were ahead of your son-in-law this morning for attendance, and checked to see if Ryan was here. He hadn't shown up. I was worried about him, but you were here early, and Ryan came in later. I'm watching that.
Listen, hopefully we got each other's back.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm
He is my favorite son-in-law.
All right, good deal. Only one.
Don't get into details.
All right, here's the question, and I don't normally do it, Regina, not a question for you, but in the Rotarian magazine, I asked 2 questions last week. Okay, and one of the questions I ask a lot of times for a guest, how many pages are in the Rotarian magazine? And like Richard, Steiger, where's Steiger? He's not here. Anyway, Michael, how many pages are in the Rotarian magazine?
I get 3 choices, you can call me Stagger.
That's
That's $1.05 for all 3 of them.
It's the same number it was last year at
last month this time, I mean, last year this time.
All right, how many pages, you remember?
The same number.
Okay, yeah, but what is that number?
Uh,
Help him out, Richard.
64.
64, all right.
Oh, it's 64.
That's it, okay. Anyway, I'm gonna ask Joe this, and it may not be fair. He's read the magazine. The Rotarian magazine, August, on page 64, the last page. Joe, have you read it?
I believe that's the July one, isn't it?
It's in July, yeah.
Yeah, not August.
No, August.
August.
Whoa, wait a minute,
No, it's in July.
Yeah, July, oh yeah. My grandfather used to do this. He used to raise honeybees. And I think there's an article about building little houses for bees. And I'm like, whoa, who's that?
Good afternoon. You go ahead and give me a dollar. I'm going to process it, handling a few things.
It's 7:15.
How's Donald this morning?
15 was supposed to start, isn't it? What's happened to that?
All right, good deal. Now, Joe was talking about last page.
That last page in the July one is a great article about, in Germany, they're very concerned that they're losing all these honeybees. There's not enough honeybees. So they're inviting individuals to build little houses for honeybees.
Yes.
And they've built over 500 of them.
This is really, really interesting. And the Hickory paper this morning has a whole spread on honeybees. But that leads me, and listen, that's congratulations for reading this. Occasionally, Regina, we like to ask questions like this to see if everyone's reading. That leads me to the next thing. They were talking about building hotels for honeybees. And last week, I talked about this, and I'm trying to get Steiger to come in this morning because, I need him to handle it. We need to look at the squirrel population. And why
You're nuts.
As a fundraiser, and I'm trying to clear this with Steiger, that, the quarrel of squirrels, we're looking at honeybees, and Gavin was concerned, it came from Scotland, and we're trying to look at the squirrel population and so that they have proper underwear. So I'll pass this around this time that you may want to look at, so keep it in mind.
Anybody see Steve?
I'm talking about
What's up, brother?
Underdressed.
That's it.
Thank you, Wade. Oh, okay, well, I thought Lynn was gonna say something about Bob Steiger this morning, but,
He's not here.
well, I know what he's doing because of how much I had to pay to get my granddaughter's car working. Bob can now remodel his bays, and that's what he's doing right now.
In case he runs short, he can use some of my money too.
Okay, we have a club assembly today, y'all, and I am going to ask you to take one sheet and pass them around. Give that one up to everybody.
Probably here.
See you. You can't do it.
Nice thing.
Tucker on the one. He keeps the car parked in the money.
Twice would be.
What's that?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
6 months old.
There are two sides to this. I'd like you to look at the side that has a chart on it first. And this, what I've done, and this started when we had our work session a couple of months ago at Steve's office. And those of us who were there began figuring out who could chair what committees, and I was filling in members at that time. And I subsequently have put in, I think everybody's on here at least once. And if I put you on a committee and you'd rather be on another committee, no problem, you know, that's okay. I just want you to take a look at it, and after we go over this, then we'll look at the other side, because the other side gives committee responsibilities. And if that's something you feel comfortable with, okay. If not, you know, I don't have any problem making changes for you. On club administration, Phil offered to be the chair for that. So Ryan, Roger, Jenny, Rhino, and I will be on that committee. Steve graciously again agreed to head up the membership, and I can't think of a better person for it, in all honesty, because since 2000 until this point, we're getting close to 19 years as a club now, a couple of months. Steve has brought more people into this club than anybody has. And so I'm asking Regina if she's willing to serve on that, along with Michael, Lynn, and I will be on that committee. Gavin will head up the public image, and he and I have spoken that I really, really want pictures and stories in the local paper, because the other Rotary clubs, the civic clubs, they get things in there, and we ought to as well, because we're doing an awful lot. It's just a matter of organizing and making sure we have pictures, and I asked him to put the one that you saw of Rhino getting the Rotator of the Year award in the paper. Little did I know how good of a write-up he added to that. It was excellent. It really was outstanding write-up. So that kind of stuff we're looking for. But Kenny, Phil, Wayne, and Nancy would be on that committee helping. Service projects, Joe asked to head that up. So Richard, Jenny, let's see, Glenn, Steiger, Ron, and Walter will be on that committee. Foundation, Bob will take this year. Ron Leach has been the Rotary person, the foundation person since we started, but his job, he asked if he could slow down for a little bit. His job is he retired and now he's got a job over 50 hours a week. So he's busy, but he's staying with us. And Jim and Donald, I'm asking you guys to be on that Rotary Foundation thing. Fundraising, this is the committee, we put this committee together so that when somebody comes and says, we're asking, they do a presentation, then they ask for some money. This committee would get together and discuss whether we should fund the request and how much we should fund. The committee then brings that back to the whole club for a vote. CART, Phil has had that. If you want, do you need anybody, you need a committee for this at all? Okay. And Joe stopped me a few weeks ago and asked if he could sort of like be the chaplain or outreach persons. I put both words down there. For our members, either us, as for example, when Rhino was down and Donald Hicks was down, they have somebody lead up, here's a card, a phone call, we'll just organize some things for our folks and our families. You all remember the tragedy I went through a few years ago. You were there for me and my wife, and that's the kind of thing that we're thinking about our own folks.
And Joe makes a great visiting chaplain too.
No question.
I'll attest to that.
Yeah, he does. And I listed the officers, and I made a mistake, because I did this back when we had the work session. I don't want to call it a retreat, but the work session, where it says secretary, it's just Roger. Roger is the secretary. Rhino's assisting, but Rhino's doing lots of other stuff right now. And on the back then, you see for each of the first 5 on the chart, it lists what these clubs, what these, committees could be doing. Now let's go over those for just a second. It's not limited to this, and if you don't do everything on it, it's okay. But this, you want to get the general idea. Club administration will help the club secretary, so this is something Roger needs to be aware of, in organizing fun club activities. Did I put fun people on there? No, we gotta get rid of some of these people there. I'm kidding, right? But the idea of organizing events for the club, that comes under that particular committee's auspices, and these people can get together and talk, share ideas. Membership, this is, I can't tell you how important it is. If you've read this month's magazine, and you open it right up to the president's message, he's saying, I'm asking every club to form an active membership committee. And he goes on to talk about the importance of membership. And so we have a membership committee. We just need to be more proactive. We can't let it rest on one person's shoulders. We have to work as a group. Now, each of you should have, and if you don't have, I'll make more copies of it. Rhino, you got the strategic plan there, updated
Yep.
one? Let me have that a second. We did a strategic plan years and years ago, and we've updated it and tweaked it a little bit. But one of our very, very first goal is membership. And we listed strategies and who's responsible for it. I don't think there's anything wrong with these particular strategies, but we just need to be proactive in it. For example, the first one says each member, that's all of us, will compile a list of 3 to 5 prospective members. And we put the rationale down. Organized lists of names makes it easier to recruit. As opposed to who can I, Joe, you know somebody, or Rich, you know somebody. Take some time and write down some names. And if anybody needs us, I'll attach it in my update and send it out again for everybody. And then each member will invite at least one prospective member to a meeting each quarter. We put that down. The rationale for this strategy ensures participation from each member and gives the possibility of 20 to 24 guests each quarter. So that's that kind of thing that we're talking about. And then there are more going on, but if we can revisit the goals and compare them to what each committee is responsible for, Steve.
I was just going to say, we don't need to lose track of vocations either. I think we need to look at who we have in the club.
Yeah.
And then let's look at the vocations that Rotary's always been about. Is, we don't want all teachers and we don't want all lawyers. We want a very diverse group of different backgrounds.
Yeah.
As
we bring people in, we try to think of the diversity of occupations as well. Yes. Okay. So you see, and then public image. I like where we're going because now Gavin and Rhino know about Margaret Gormley. She's the one at the district level to which everybody would send things when she's retired. So I don't even know who does it now.
It's been distributed.
Okay, so we need to make sure you guys are, that this committee is aware. But things like,
I'll mention real quick, it puts a premium on individuals being capable in DAC-DB, because to know who to go to, you have to go to district admin in DAC-DB. Say you're interested in finance, you have to see who Sean is the treasurer. That's who you would communicate to in DAC-DB. Okay, so it's going to they're putting a premium on our learning how to individually connect to the resources.
that's good.
I went into that DB the other day. It was the first time for years, I'll be honest.
Mhm.
And it is extremely easy, you're right.
They've changed it to all icon menus.
It is easy. Every time in the past when Bob would mention DAC-DB, my eyes would glaze over. Okay, whatever that means, yeah, right. And I avoided it at all costs until recently, until I got to this particular role. And you're right, it is easy to get on once you get on our club. Many of y'all's pictures are on our page. One thing, the last thing that you took, Steve, and you did that those pictures are on there, write-ups on most of us, so we'll keep updating that as well. But it's a good source to get into. The service projects one, I think I put a little more, one or two more bodies on that one, because this is the kind of thing we want to look at for when we say, let's have fun and do good. This is the do good part. And what are our needs? Where can we help the most? That's number one, assess community needs. And then we plan whatever projects we want to do using the resources that we have. And you can see on number 6 on service projects, where it says club, vocational, community, international youth, we used to have a chairperson for each one of those back when we had 38 members or so. We've gotten away from that, but I put that in there. I didn't put it, the Rotary Handbook does, but it's in there so that we don't lose track of that. And then the foundation, you see what the foundation does. So take this home, take a look at it. If you have a question or a concern about it, just something else you'd rather be on, that's okay. Just let me know and we'll move bodies around. I just want to make sure that everybody has at least one thing to do throughout the year. And I don't expect these committees to meet lots of times, but you can communicate through email and things. And if there's a time you need to have a discussion, the chair people will take care of that. Any concerns or questions? Thank you all. The next thing that I have, and this is going to be a short meeting, I think. The next thing I have is just a reminder of our program schedule. And I sent that out to you all a couple weeks ago. And I filled in everybody's name. Now, and I think I put on the email that if the date that you have is not convenient for you and you want to change, that's fine. Just let me know or trade with somebody and tell me, and I have this on the computer, I'll update it. And what I mentioned in the email was that you are responsible for that day. That doesn't mean you have to. I mean, you don't have to do a program yourself, but I'd like you to try to get somebody. But we've also talked about the fact that you could be your own program. I learned a lot when Richard talked about how he got into the business he's in right now, coming out of the military, and working himself up to own that company now. That's a powerful story. And each of you has such a story. So you can be your own program. And we would learn more about each other if you chose to go that particular route. If anybody, and what I did do was put invocation by the month. I've got July, Phil will have August, Richard September, Steve, and then Joe. Jenny has December, Michael has January, Glenn has February, Regina has March, Ryan has April, Rhino has May. And we have June. And anyway, so, and the thing there is, and Jim has June except the last one, I'll take the last day myself. To try to get more people involved, but I didn't want to go through the schedule and just put every day somebody has a different one. This is your month, and you got it. I have Sunshine on the schedule, but I haven't put anybody's name in it. We've gotten away from that and trying to find a way to bring it back in. What Sunshine is, different clubs call it different things, but it's just a moment to bring a smile to the faces of Rotarians. And it could be simply praising the fact that you've got the best grandchild in the world. And that's fine. So
Walter just did that one.
Well, nobody was here but a few.
Well, we were.
Okay. I will say something.
sure.
My great nephew is on the Georgia State Champion under 12 Little League team. Wow. To the regionals in August.
Very good.
And
And he's a sluggard.
yeah, he's a slugger. He plays catcher.
Rick, we do that, I call, now is that the one that goes to Williamsport, is it that?
Well,
1200's the one that goes, but is that?
they have regional.
There's different affiliations.
Yeah,
Little League and Neighborhood League and.
Yeah, well, this is.
This is Little League? Okay, good.
Wayne.
We do that, as far as Rotary moment, I'll ask anything for club interest we have to do. In the past, if you wanted to say something about a grandchild, then you could stand up, we charge you $1 for
Yeah.
that minute
Yeah.
that you're gonna be doing it, and so I need $1 from you.
You say it's $1 a minute? What is $1?
I need $1 from you, you're a new member and you're talking to me.
There you
I
go.
I tell you what.
Just give them $1.
What I like about Wayne, he thinks quickly on his feet.
Yes.
All right. Any way to get involved.
He's got 5 minutes.
Should that come from William?
Well, it actually would come from Steve, because I'm still under his guidance.
Under the bus, Steve.
Did you catch that, Steve?
No, I missed it.
Okay. The question was, since Ron got fined, that his sponsor should pay the fine. Ryan said that his sponsor, he's still under his sponsor,
Oh, no.
so you can.
Actually, Steve, I really think it should be Phil, because he gave me that daggone brick.
My fault.
Speaking of brick, where is my brick?
Who's got the break?
I've got to bring it back.
I'll
I've
go.
got to- it's in my-
Ryan has it, he'll bring it back.
So we're gonna fine him $5 if he
I
doesn't
think
bring
so.
it back.
Well, that's right, you can pay it. Yeah, you can pay it.
One question.
Hey, Rick.
All right, Pat, Joe.
I have a question, real quick.
Yeah.
Service projects, I know that we were involved in 4 that I'm aware of, Veterans Stand Down, the Chrysler for Meal and Clothing, the backpacks, and the food packing. Is there anything else? So have we tried to do like 1 a quarter, is that what's been
Okay,
happening?
what I gave to Kenny to put in the bulletin
Okay,
is, next week, there's the food pantry, the stand down, CBCC, student aid,
okay, that's one.
and classroom connections. What else did, and, Rise Against Hunger is one, but I put that under global because it's not a local thing. We do it locally, but it goes elsewhere.
Well, I was just thinking, do we want to do something once a quarter, or how do we?
As often or as long as we do something.
Okay.
That's the main thing.
Right, okay.
If it comes in once a quarter, that's fine, but what I don't want us to get in the habit of doing is, oh, we haven't done anything this quarter, what are we gonna do?
Right.
Not panic, just what do we need to do and when can we do it?
And the backpacks, we're out,
Yeah,
that's totally a no more, okay.
Rick, I think as we think about sunshine and all, we need to be very, very careful. I've been in some clubs where yeah.
Yeah,
So we
and
need
I
to make
think one thing
sure-
happened here once.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to make sure that.
True, it's humorous, it's not double meaning
Right,
kinds of stuff, that could be a little off color perhaps.
right.
It's sunshine, just, and talking about a grandchild, that's sunshine.
Well, I'll give you a sunshine.
Okay.
Here's my dollar, Wayne. I'm gonna talk fast, okay?
Well, charge him $2 if they're gonna talk fast.
Y'all all know the situation with my son, where he's wanting to go in the military. That's all he wanted to do since he was 12 years old. And he didn't get the opportunity because he's diagnosed with Crohn's disease. Well, I'm telling you right now, he accepted everything a whole lot better than his daddy. He bounced back, and as of 3 weeks ago, he become a volunteer firefighter for Mountain View Fire Department.
Awesome.
And he is going to, in the fall, start firefighter training at CBCC.
Awesome.
Excellent. That's awesome.
And we are happy for Seth. Again, talking about the club being there for people.
Yeah.
You know, we were there for, and Kenny knows, and he's expressed his gratitude 1,000 times. But he and his wife and Seth went through an awful lot. And we're glad he's on his feet. And if you get a chance, he's got a picture of Seth in his fireman's gear. You need to take a look at that. It's pretty cool.
It's no longer fireman.
Firefighter.
Firefighter. Excuse me, that's right.
Like it's no longer policeman.
Or no longer manholes. No longer manholes.
We're not going there.
It's a maintenance cover.
Speaking of bulletins, we'll get them going next week. I gave Kenny some updates, and Rhino corrected some of my updates. I think we got it. Where to go? Bob, you had your hand up.
I do. The district governor has created on Facebook, and if you're a Facebook aficionado, you can go in and list your search for Rotary District 7670. She has introduced a YouTube channel, okay? And what it does is it features a Rotarian. The guy this week is from Lincolnton. It's interesting to watch. And if we had one of those cases where somebody presented a Richard story, we ought to film it and put it in the YouTube channel. But if you get a chance, look at the YouTube channel for District 7670 a couple times and see if you see any ideas, like, geez, I'd like to hear about a dentist who worked his way up or whatever. We should be putting some product into that show.
Yeah, and forgive me, Steve, but your name came to mind as soon as you said that. That would be an awesome program for if we videoed you
Sharing.
talking about your rise up through the police ranks, your connection to Rotary, how you and a couple others got this club started, how you've gone from that to an administrator at a college level. That's a pretty compelling story, and I think that that could be my recommendation. That'd be the first one we do.
Yeah.
So it's something that we do and then submit to them?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Cool. And
I think
we have the
I
equipment.
think Dr. Wimberly's would be better.
Be longer.
I think, yeah. I think his would be better than mine.
I don't say better, as compelling.
Before you could do about it.
Yeah.
Oh, we should do several, guys.
Well, yeah,
That's what I'm
right.
saying.
I say that's the first one I would think of.
Glenn's up.
Whenever, just.
Regina, go ahead.
Financial stuff,
All right, Regina.
I think I was talking to Rhino about it, at my previous club for the cart fund. They were talking about having smaller versions made that everyone kept in their cars for their loose change.
Huh.
I really like that idea because between my vehicle, my 18-year-old, and my husband, we could really put some change in there, just throw your loose change in. I don't know if that's something our club's interested in. If it is, I can take on trying to figure out how to get the cups made.
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. The card bureau is excited about
And
that.
even with the treasurer, I mean, I know what it's like to roll coin, a lot of coin. I work in a bank, you know, that's something that I can easily do, provide the
Joe.
rollers and then,
Yeah, Joe.
Sorry, I'm bringing pennies from that.
and then turn that in. But I feel like that could be quite a bit of money if we
Sure.
just throw our spare change in there in our
That's a
vehicles.
great idea.
And if you
Yeah.
clarify, US currency, US coin.
Yes, US, yes.
Because you'll get, and I would like to thank you for volunteering as a treasurer for next year, and I think we should work on that.
So Regina, if you talk to Phil, you guys can work something out.
Okay, perfect.
That'd be great.
Glenn.
Yes, I'm gonna send around, that's what we have in the bank as of last night, and then this is the June report. And, if you have any questions about that, I've already filed our, 990 for IRS purposes. We're under 50 grand as far as the, I think we talked about this last meeting, but that's been filed, I wanna make sure. One thing, a couple of things, I'm working on the budget versus actual report for last year, so I'll have that most likely next assembly, if that's okay with you. In other words, what we budgeted for last year, what we actually spent, and whatever differences that we would note, then we could use the information accordingly. I'm getting pretty much all the monthly reports together. Every year for you new folks, we do what's called a compilation review, and Lackey Accounting does that for us. And so what that encompasses is all of our documents, which I keep. You'll see the month going around now. I send the entire year to her, she goes through it, and then issues a report to me, which I share with the club. It's an outside accountability, which we've been doing now for several years. So Also, just one quick note, and Bob, I couldn't find the email because I've gotten so many emails from Rotary and everybody in the world. Mostly, the legislative change regarding dues is $250 increase per quarter. And I just wanted to, I haven't sent out the invoices for this new quarter yet, because I wanted to explain that. First of all, I'm not doing that arbitrarily. Secondly, that came from legislature. And then thirdly, do you want it to be $62.50 a quarter?
No, we should round it
Or
up.
do you want to round up? Or so I just wanted to give the club a chance to have that discussion. So those are quick things I wanted to throw out. If there's any questions to me about reports or invoicing, once we vote on that, then I will invoice everyone whatever we decide to do.
Can we make it easy on him with respect to the 50 cents? It just makes for easier accounting.
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, whatever y'all want to do, it doesn't matter to me. So I just need to know what y'all want to do.
65 would put a few bucks in the coffer, right?
Would? Is there a motion?
I move that we move, just do the 65.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion on that? Your rationale, it puts a little extra to coffers for us, and you'd be paying basically about $1.40 extra a month, something around that figure. So you've heard the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Glenn, you have the authorization for $65 a quarter.
Okay, and I'll do a brief explanation for people.
Yeah, okay, very good.
Hopefully they'll watch the video.
Thank you. Wayne?
One other thing, as far as our books and everything that has happened, is looking after the finances. This young man over here has done an outstanding job. We could not have anyone that would be a treasurer doing any better,
No.
the detail that what he's doing.
Here, here. Thank you, Glenn.
Speech.
This morning,
Questions?
I am going to,
Wayne.
you able to go?
Yes.
Okay, Walter, you gonna go? Lynn can't go today because he has to go home and wash his house or something, I guess, watch somebody do it. Anyway, the three of us are gonna go to the Miracle of Hickory site to meet Warren Wood, the city manager, and discuss possibilities and opportunities for us. And so at least we'll be a little more familiar and we'll be able to share with you. But he has assured me that the monument, that when it goes up, will have Hickory Sunrise Rotary on it. And that's a service project, by the way, us maintaining it, keeping it looking nice and stuff. And the last thing I have,
Small business.
what?
So we have some old business.
Okay, let me finish what I'm gonna do, then you can have any old business that you want. And it's in the magazine. I was reading letters to the editor kind of thing, and what caught my eye was the four-way test banner. And so I looked at it last month's, I think the one that Wayne had holding up, had some articles about the four-way test. This is, regardless of anyone's political affiliation, it's going to get really difficult, words going back and forth, or the candidates are going to nail each other. They're going to say things that they may believe to be true, or they may know it's not true, but they're going to say it anyway. Let me read what a part, just one small paragraph of a letter to the editor. It says, when we speak in generalities, such as all those people or whatever, when we speak in generalities, it's easy for those who are well off to say the world's getting better. However, as Rotarians, we are called to change the systems that keep so many people in grinding poverty. When people speak in generalities, as Rotarians, we go, is it the truth? And we look deeper, because the forest may say the economy is outstanding, and by some numbers it is. But you look at some of the trees in that forest, they can barely make it day to day. And they may have jobs, but a lot of people have part-time jobs. A lot of people have jobs with no benefits. A lot of people have jobs with minimum wage. It's very, very difficult to make ends meet. And so when we do our assessment, what are the needs? Don't speak in generalities. Don't listen to generalities. Let's find out what the specifics are and what can we do to help. Let's never, ever, ever lose sight that we are Rotarians, and we're Rotarians for a reason. And the four-way test, I think, is the thing that binds us together, and I hope keeps our moral compass going in the direction it should. That's enough sermonizing for me today. Bob, you got something?
Yeah, I need to ask Steve, where do we stand with the intent of reissuing the club picture-laden inventory of members?
Correct.
Somebody translate.
When are you gonna take pictures again, Steve?
Yeah, that's actually next assembly.
Okay. Next step,
When is
I'll
it
write it
next?
down, I'll try to remind
I
folks.
just
so we have-
didn't want it to drop off the horizon.
So we have plenty of time for folks to get ready. And like I said, I have the template already set up, it's just a matter of plugging in.
Okay,
And we'll need write-ups on everybody
okay.
as well.
We'll try to get everybody, we're only missing a few people today, so that's good. Anything else, anybody, anything you want to share at all? If not, Steve?
Of the things we think, say, or do,
Is it true?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank y'all.
You gave me one last week, but I
Do it next week.
actually you gave me one of these.
So, hey, I got.
I got